Hello everyone, welcome back to the GT Improvement channel. In this video, we're going to continue with some more word problems using perimeter area, volume, and surface area of squares and rectangles. So let's get started. I've got my formulas written right up here. Perimeter is twice the length plus twice the width. Area is length times width. Volume is length times width times height. And to find surface area, you find the area of each face and then you add them all up, okay? And remember, when you're dealing with a cube, think of like a dice, there is always 6 sides to that figure, okay? All right, go ahead and pause your video and see if you can work out the first one, number 7. Okay, so I recommended to you that when you are dealing with problems that have you do dimensions or measurements, that it's helpful to just draw a picture. So it says the area of the top of a square table is 16 square feet. So it says the area of the top of the table is 16 square feet. So 16 feet squared is the area. They are asking how long is each side of the table. So I know that area is length times width. And I know that since it's a square, that means that all of these sides are going to be equal. So what two numbers could I multiply together to make 16? Well, your only option would be 4 times 4. So the length of each side is going to be 4 feet. Okay, go ahead and see if you can figure out number 8. All right, number 8 is kind of tricky. So we have a wall. I'm just going to draw my wall, and it says that this wall is 8 feet high, and it says the label on a gallon of interior wall paint reads coverage 400 square feet. So remember, 400 square feet, when we're talking about square feet, square inches, we're talking about area, okay? So 400 square feet, what is the length? We are looking for this piece right here of an 8-foot high wall that can be painted with 1 gallon of this paint. So if I'm painting this wall and it says I'm covering 400 square feet, all this means is what number am I multiplying by 8 to make 400? So 8 times what number? We'll say that's x. I'm going to use a dot here. 8 times x equals 400. And to solve for x, you would divide both sides by 8. So x is going to be 50 feet. All right. Now, next question is volume. Remember, the formula for volume is length times width times height. Okay, go for it. All right, for this first one here, it would be 4 times 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64 yards. And we're talking about volume, so it's always going to be units cubed. All right, in this next figure here, it's going to be 6 by 4 by 10. 6 times 4 is 24, times 10 is 240 feet cubed. Just going to circle my answers here. And then for this one, it's going to be 3 times 5 times 7.5, which works out to be 112.5 meters cubed. All right, go ahead if you can figure out the surface area for the first 2 figures. So that's this one and this one. All right, surface area of this first figure here. So we know that the face of this figure is 4 by 4. So 4 by 4. So that means the area of this face is going to be 16 yards squared. Now remember, this is a square. This is a cube, like a dice, right? There are 6 sides to this cube, and all of the dimensions for all of the faces are the same because it's 4 by 4 by 4. So all we need to do is take this 16 yards squared, and we are going to multiply it by 6 because we have 6 of these faces that are exactly the same area. So 16 times 6 is going to give you 96 yards squared is the surface area. All right, so that's figure number 1. Figure number 2, a little bit trickier. So again, we still have 6 faces, but the dimensions are all going to be a little bit different. So let's start with this front face here. This front face is 4 feet by 10 feet. So 4 feet by 10 feet. That is 40 feet squared. And I have not one of those, but I have the front side, and then there's also one on the back. So I have 2 of those faces that are exactly the same. So I'm going to multiply that by 2, which gets you 80 feet squared. So that's 2 of my faces. I still have 4 more to go. Let's go ahead and do these sides next. So these measure 6 feet by 4 feet. So 6 times 4, that would be 24. That's feet squared. I also have 2 of these. I have one here and one over here. So I'm going to multiply that by 2. That's going to get me 48 feet squared. And then finally, I have my top and my bottom. So the bottom piece here, you can see that this is 6 and this is 10. So this is going to be 6 by 10, which is 60 feet squared. And I also have 2 of those, which is going to give me a total of 120 feet squared. All right, so now I have all of my 2, 4, 6 faces. Now my final step is to just add these numbers together. And when you do that, you get 248 feet squared for surface area. All right, go ahead and try number 11. Okay, a waterbed measures 6 feet by 5 feet and 6 inches, that's very important, inches high. How many cubic feet of water does this waterbed hold? All right, they're talking about cubic feet. That is your hint that we are looking for volume. Volume. All right, so volume is length times width times height. So in this case, it says the length is 6, the width is 5, and the height is 6 inches. Now, you cannot put 6 here because these are feet and this is inches. It all has to be the same unit of measurement. So I'm going to make it all feet because if I turn these into inches, then I'm going to end up with a really big, annoying number. All right, so 6 feet by 5 feet, 6 inches, that is a half of a foot. So you need to use 0.5 or 1/2. All right, final step, we're just going to multiply all these together. 6 times 5 is 30. And any number times a half, you are cutting that number in half. So 30 times a half, half of 30 is 15. And that is going to be feet cubed. Okay? All right, last one. This one's pretty tricky. Okay. For this problem, it says a rectangular storage container has a volume of 600 feet cubed, and the area of the bottom of the container is 120 feet squared. What is the height? Okay, let's think about what we know. We know that this rectangular storage container has a volume of 600 feet. So 600 feet cubed represents the volume, which is length times width times height, right? Volume is length times width times height. The volume of this container is 600 feet cubed. Now, the next step, this is super tricky. The next step is we know the area of the bottom is 120 feet squared. So they're saying the area is 120 feet squared, and we find area by length times width, right? So we know that the length times the width is 120. So we know this piece here. So 600 feet cubed equals 120, which is the length times the width, times the height. Did I just blow your mind a little bit there? I hope I didn't go too fast. So we took the volume, which is length times width times height, and we substituted in what they told us for area, which was 120. We substituted that in for our length times our width. All we need to do now is find the height, and to do that, we're just going to do a little bit of algebra. Divide both sides by 120. Cancel common zeros. 60 divided by 12 is 5 feet, which is your answer. So 120 times 5, that gives you your 600 feet cubed. Tricky question. All right, hopefully you did well on this one. If you have any questions or if you think there's an easier way to solve any of these problems, please comment below. And if you are enjoying this channel, if it's helping you, please hit the subscribe button and tell any friends that you might know of that are also trying to improve their GT score about this channel. I'd appreciate it. All right, have a great day and see you at the next video.